Hi everyone, hope you all are good. We are here for grade 7 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab, scroll down to grade 7 math and then click on view all lessons. There you can find a list of the chapters. We are going to start with chapter 2 variable equations. The lessons we're going to cover today are: does xy satisfy the equation? Identify independent and dependent variables. Find a value using two variable equations. Solve word problems involving two variable equations. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. Okay, here I am on the grade 7 math. The chapter we are on right now is two variable equations. Let's just start with the first lesson, that is, does xy satisfy the equation? Okay, is 6 1 a solution to the equation? So you are given a point, right? 6 and 1. You have to see if that this point is the solution of the equation x y equals x. So how do we check? We need to use this order pair, put the values in the equation and see if they are equal. So that is y equals x, right? 6 and 1, that is the x value and that is the y value, right? Just put up the values. 1 is not equal to 6, right? They are not equal. That means that they does not satisfy the equation. The point 6 1 does not satisfy the equation. Okay, let's just start with the test questions. Does 0 0 makes the equation y equals 8x true? Okay, you are given the equation y equals 8x, right? The order pair you are given is 0 0. That means x is 0, y is 0. Let's just put up the values. X times 0. So 8 times 0 is 0 and 0 is equal to 0, right? That means the point 0 0 satisfies the equation y equals 8x, right? So that means the point 0 0 satisfies the equation. Got it? So the correct option is yes, it is. 0 0 makes the equation true. Yes, option number 1 is the correct option. Is 8 5 a solution of the equation y equals x minus 3? So you are given the order pair 8 5, right? X is 8, y is 5, right? The equation you are given is y equals x minus 3. Y is 5, x is 8 minus 3. So 5 is equal to 5. They both are exactly equal. That means yes, the point 8, 5 is the solution of the equation y equals x minus 3. Got it? The correct option is yes, it is. That is the solution. Is 3, 1 a solution to the equation y equals 2x? So the equation is y equals 2x. 3 and 1, that is the x and that is the y. Y is 1. 2 times 3. 1 is not equal to 6. That means the point 3, 1 is not the solution of if the equation y equals 2x. Got it? The correct option is no. Option number 2 is the correct option. Okay, is 7, 3 a solution to the system of equation y equals x minus 4? Let's just put up the values, right? X is 7, x is 7, y is 3, right? The equation is y equals x minus 4, y is 3, x is 7 minus 4. So 7 minus 4 is 3. Both sides are equal. That means the point 7, 3 is the solution of the equation y equals x minus 4. Got it? The correct option is yes, that is the solution. Okay, so the correct option is yes, they both are exactly equal. Okay, is does the point 4, 3 satisfy the equation y equals 9x, which is the correct option? The correct option is no. The point 43 does not satisfy the equation y equals 9x. No, how? X is 4, y is 3. So 3 is equal to 9 times 4. 9 times 4 is 36. 3 is equal to 36. Yes or no? No. The correct option is no. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move to next lesson. And the next lesson is the next lesson is identify dependent and independent variables. Let's just start with the lesson. Okay, let's just start with the example. Ed is renting buses for a school trip field. The number of students going on the trip will determine the number of buses needed. S equals the number of students going on the trip. B equals the number of buses needed. Which of the variable is independent and which is dependent? First, you need to learn what are the dependent and what are the. Okay, so let's just understand the concept of dependent and independent variable first, right? Dependent variable means there are two variables. One is called independent variable and the other is called dependent variable. The variable whose value does not depend on the other variable is the independent variable, right? That means if the value of a variable does not depend on the other variable, then that is the independent variable, right? The value, the variable whose values depends on other variable is the dependent variable. So according to the name dependent, that means it depends on something. So that is the dependent variable, right? Okay, now understand that. Let me read the question again and then I'll explain. Ed is renting buses for a school trip. The number of students going on the trip will determine the number of buses needed. This sentence is very, very important given in every question. The number of students going on the trip will determine the number of buses needed. That means that means the number of students going on the trip will determine the number of buses needed. Buses are dependent on the number of students going, right? So S is the dependent variable and B is the independent variable, right? No, S is the independent variable and B is the dependent variable because number of buses are dependent on the students going on the trip, right? So variable S is the independent variable and B is the dependent variable. Got it? Let's just start with the test questions. The manager of a restaurant decides how many servers to schedule for a particular night based upon how many reservations were made for that night. S is equal to number of servers scheduled to work and R equals number of reservations. So just look at this line. The manager of a restaurant decides how many servers to schedule for a particular night based upon how many reservations were made. So if they have more reservation, he can have more servers. If he have less reservations, he can have less servers. That means R is the independent variable and S is the dependent variable. So R is the independent variable and S is the dependent variable. Option number one is the correct option. Sorry. Okay, the next one is the weather forecast for the town of Yardley has predicted that it will snow in all afternoon. The more it snows, the longer it will take to plow all the streets. So this sentence is very important. That means the more it snows, the longer it will take to plow all the streets. So if you have more snow, you can have to more cleaning the streets, right? If you have less snow, then you have less to plow the streets. That means S is the independent variable, snowfall is independent, but T is the dependent variable. S is independent and T is the dependent variable. Option number one is the correct option. On a game show, contestants with money for each question they answer correctly. The number of correct answers dictates the amount of puzzles. Yes. The number of correct answers dictates the number of prize money. So that means the number of correct answers is the dependent variable and the amount of prize money is the. So C is the independent and M is the dependent variable. Option number one is the correct option. C is independent and M is the dependent variable. Got it? Okay, for a party, Corbin made a pan pizza from scratch. The number of people in attendance will determine how many squares he cuts the pizza into. P equals the number of people attending the potluck and the number of square Corbins cut the pizza into. Which of the variable is independent, which is dependent? So that means P is the independent variable and S is the dependent variable. Number of pizzas are dependent on the people attending the party, right? So option number one is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. And the next lesson is that is find a value using two variable equations. Let's just start with the lesson. Okay, use the equation C equals P minus 6, right? You can see the two variables here. C is a variable and P is a variable, right? That is C equals P minus 6. So C and P are the variables. You need to find the value of C when P equals 7. So use the equation C equals P minus 6. So just put up the value of the variable given 7 minus 6 is 1. That means the C equals 1. So when P equals 7, C equals 1. Got it? Okay, let's just start with the test questions. So you are given the equation and the value of one of the variable. You need to put that value in the equation and find the value of the other variable, right? Just look at the example. Use the equation f equals p plus 2. That is the equation given. To find the value of f, you need to calculate the value of n when p equals 3, right? So you are given the value of the variable p equals 3. Simply replace the p with the value and solve the equation when p equals 3, f equals 5. The correct option is option number 1, 5 it is. That is option number 1, 5 is the correct option. Use the equation A equals W plus 9 to find the value of A when W equals 9. So you need to find the value of the A. You are given W equals 9. So which is the correct option? So just replace the W with the value. You are given the value. The equation you are given is A equals W plus 9. Replace the variable W with the value 9 plus 9. So 9 plus 9 makes 18. So the correct option is A equals 18. Option number 1 is the correct option, right? The correct option is option number 1. Okay, the next one is use the equation y equals j minus 7 to find the value of y when j equals 9. So which is the correct option? The equation is y equals j minus 7. To find the value of y when j equals 9. So j is 9. 9 minus 7 it is, right? So y equals 9 minus 7 is 2. So option number 1 is the correct option. Got it? So option number 1 is the correct option. Use the equation q equals y minus 8 to find the value of q when y equals 9. So what is the value of q when y equals 9? Which is the correct option? Replace the y with the value 9 minus 8 is 1. That means when y equals 9, q equals 1. The correct option is option number 1 is the correct option. Got it? Use the equation u equals y plus 6. Find the value of u when y equals 2. So which is the correct option? So replace the variable y with the value that is y equals 2. So 2 plus 6 equals 8. That means when y equals 2, u equals 8. Option number 2 is the correct option. Got it? Use the equation s equals w plus 8 to find the value of s when w equals 4. So which is the correct option? You need to put the value of the w equals 4 in the equation. So the equation is w plus 8. So 4 plus 8 equals, that is 12. Option number 1 is the correct option. Use the equation y equals t plus 3 to find the value of y when t equals 5. So which is the correct option? Yes, the correct option is 8. Option number 2 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. And the next lesson is solve word problems involving two variable equations. Let's just start with the lesson. Okay, let's just start with the test question. You can have a look on the tutorial by yourself later today, right? The equation shows how the amount of tape Seema has used is related to the number of presents she has wrapped. T equal to P. The variable P represents the number of presents wrapped and the variable T represents the number of tape used in centimeter. How much tape will Seema need if she has to wrap two presents, right? How much tape will Seema need? That means you need to calculate the value of T if she has to wrap the two presents. P equals to, replace the P with a value, so that is T equals 2 times T equal 2 times 2 presents, so 2 times 2 equals 4. That means if she wrapped two presents she used 4 centimeter of the tape. The correct option is 4. Option number 2 is the correct option. Got it? That is 4. The equation shows how the total number of necklace Tracy owns is related to the amount of money she spent on additional necklaces. N equals D. The variable D represents the amount of money she spends on additional necklaces, and the variable N represents the total number of necklaces she owns. With $11 to spend on new necklaces, how many total necklaces can Tracy own? Which is the correct option? Which is the correct option? N equals D, right? You are given the number of necklaces is 11. That means if necklaces is 11, the number of that means in total she owns $11 she spent on new necklace, right? So N equals D. That means that necklaces is also equal to 11. The correct option is option number 1. The equation shows how the total number of This equation shows how how the total amount of paper Zane's office has recycled depends on the number of weeks since they started the new recycling plan. So P equals 6W. The variable W represents the number of weeks the office has been on the new recycling plan, and the variable P represents the total kilograms of paper recycled. After 3 weeks, how many kilograms of paper will Zane's office has recycled? So you are given 3 weeks, right? Replace the W with 3. So which is the correct option? The correct option is 6 times 3 is 18. So if after 3 weeks the kilograms of paper will Zane's office has recycled is 18 kilograms, option number 1 is the correct option. This equation shows the amount of money Braden makes from selling lemonade is related to the number of cups sold. D equals C plus 1. The variable C represents the number of cups sold and the variable D represents earnings. After selling a total of 10 cups of lemonades, how much money will Braden have made in all? So which is the correct option? So C equals 10, right? That is, replace the C equals 10, so 10 plus 1 is 11. The correct option is 11. Option number 1 is the correct option. The equation shows how the total number of paper Danny's office has recycled depend on the number of weeks since they started the new recycling plan. W equals P equals W plus 19. The variable W represents the number of weeks the office has been on new recycling plan, and the variable P represents total kilograms of paper recycled. After 1 week, W equals 1. So when you replace W equals 1, which is the correct option? Yes, 19 plus 1 is 20. So 20 kilograms, right? Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we were working on grade 7 math. The chapter we were working on is two variable equations. The lessons we have covered today are: does xy satisfy the equation? Identify independent and dependent variables. Find a value using two variable equations. and solve word problems involving two variable equations. Please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions we just did. That is your homework until next session. So if you need more help with any of the lesson, you can simply click on the live chat button. Tutors are available there to help you. Or either you can write down the question in the chat box. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. So if you have any questions related to the lessons we have just finished, you can please write down the question in the chat box. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. Any questions? No questions? Okay, then that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye, everyone.